It is a great joy and honor to come into your homes and your minds with a message of empowerment and enlightenment. This is Emmanuel Mensah, a co-founder of the Eagle Mentality Group. At the Eagle Mentality Group, we teach and propagate information about the power of thought, universal laws and principles, and how these laws and our thinking patterns comes together to create our realities. All human beings are creating their life experiences. Whether you believe this or not, whether you disagree or not, that is a fact. You create your own reality. Your blood was in circulation even when you were in your mother's womb, but you never had an idea about blood circulation until you grew up and passed through the school system that you were taught that you have blood that is circulating through your body, and that is why you exist. So if the knowledge about this blood circulation in the human body is a condition for living or for existence, then no baby or children will be able to, a child will be able to live up to a point that he or she discovers, you see. So your ignorance about things doesn't mean that those things doesn't exist. You create your own realities. Anyway, that is not what we are doing here. In these weeks and these days, we are not talking about metaphysics, but we are applying the principles in whatever I am presenting here. But we are looking at human development, bringing improvement in the living conditions of the African people, of the ordinary Ghanaian walking on the street, you see. And so I have been speaking about a couple of things. I spoke about the housing, and I spoke about the military, how we can use the military. We create paramilitary units in all districts. We use the military, the regular military, to train them to build bridges and roads all over the country, to open up the country. And then we rolled out a housing scheme that will help every individual in every corner of the country to be able to put up a decent and a beautiful place that we call a home. And also that will lead to we reorganizing our towns, villages, and everything into developed states, well-laid roads, streets, and everything, such that when you visit any part of Ghana, you will feel the wind of progress, you see. And so today I am going to continue, but today I'm going to speak on land ownership. And so what we are looking at is the quest, or the theme I'm speaking under is the quest for uniform and sustainable development in Ghana and Africa in general. And as I've been saying, whatever we are doing here is applicable to all African countries. I'm speaking about Ghana because I'm a Ghanaian, and the Ghana issue is more like my life, and therefore I can speak about it without any uncertainty, you see. And so that is why I'm using Ghana, but this is applicable to all African countries. And so before we go on to our topic, I just want to make this appeal to you. If you are listening, once you are listening to me, please click on the subscribe button if you haven't done that, and subscribe to our channel. And also leave a comment in the comment section and let us know where you are speaking from. And also, if what we are doing resonates with you and you want to be part of it, please leave a note as well, especially if you are within the Greater Toronto area in Canada and you want to be physically involved in this project. Please, you can leave a note and then I'll connect with you from that end. And so that is it. We are moving on to the topic. And the topic today is the quest for uniform and sustained development in Ghana. Now we are looking at the land ownership. So that is where our radar is. Land ownership has been one of the key, not even one, the major key of or source of conflicts in all human communities and societies. But as a result of the conflicts and other things, if you go to some other places, especially in the developed world, these issues led them to develop policies, to develop laws, and make all changes in such a way that land is not no more a factor that people get up and fight over. And so if you look at Ghana, what we have, there are a lot of litigations, and the difficult one is now even in the cities. If you go to Accra right now, you have your money, you go and buy the land, a plot of land from one traditional ruler, and then you pay for the land. By the time you go back, say you are going to develop it, another person appears that he owns the land. Then it becomes an issue. People are being duped, people are being deceived, people are being tricked into all kind of things, whilst the government sit down aloof and doing nothing. And when I say government, it's not the present government alone. All government that came and gone, you see. And that is why I am doing this education. And as I've always been saying, I am not speaking to the government. I am not speaking to the government of Ghana today. I'm not appealing to His Excellency President John Mahama to take my ideas and implement them. But I am speaking to you, the ordinary person, so that you become awakened to some of these things, and then you begin to demand it from anyone who is in power. You see, so that is the power I am giving to you. So there is the need for us to begin to think of or to take practical steps in rearranging the ownership of land. The lands, every land must be in the hands of the government. At the end of the day, we are all in one bucket called Ghana. And therefore, the interest of Ghana and every individual in Ghana matters than any other person that calls himself a chief, a king, or whatever, or a tribe. The national interest, Ghana's national interest supersedes all other interests. And the national interest of Ghana is uniform and sustained development for every individual, regardless of where you are. And so to bring this change, the land must be taken away from land ownership, no longer, or land ownership and control must no longer be under the control or in the hands of the local chiefs and other traditional rulers. But it must be in the hands of the government through, then the local administration would control it on behalf of the central government. And so when we have this, then with the roads now being created and we've opened the country, we have a housing scheme. Then that we are able to control this unwanted litigation and confusion that surrounds our lands. And so anything that happens in the Western world, they did it because of the weakness or the challenges they were facing as a result of the system that they were using at that time. And so when you come here, always there is a review of whatever they have based on the challenges that they are facing. What I'm proposing is not there is no perfect system, but you must have something that you are working on to improve it. If we are to have a perfect thing, then there is nothing as eternity. We are evolving, you see. And so we need to take the land from the local and the traditional rulers and place it in the political administration. And with a proper housing system roll out, no one has the power to sell a land to any other individual. And you cannot buy a land from any other person apart from the housing development company or unit in the town or city that you want to buy the plot. You see, if we do this, we will control the rampant abuse of the land and people, such that we'll be able to put up uniform and sustainable system and developmental projects in our towns and villages, you see. So when we do this, whoever that is ready to put up a house, you apply to the housing board. Then you pay for the land. You develop your house. When you get to a certain level, the government complete it for you. Then you have a decent and a wonderful house. You don't have to pay any mortgage. You don't have to be in debt as we have in the West. But you own the house with the help of the government. The only thing you have to do is to pay a tax to the government for the maintenance of the house and other facilities within the community. You see, so when we do this, we can change Ghana into a modern Ghana, a modern nation. But for now, what we are doing is a kind of confusion. You cannot leave things down and expect that the things will change themselves. Traditional rulership is about time we decouple traditional rulership from the ownership of land and even political systems. The chiefs are not elected people. They are enthroned they are enthroned or enskinned through what we call inheritance. And so you cannot hold a chief accountable for what he hasn't done necessarily. The only time that a chief will be distilled, is when he has gone against the customs and the traditions of the people of the area. But so long as he does all these things and there is no any development in other things, no one holds the chief accountable because they are not elected. But they are controlling the major resources that are needed for the development of the area. And so this is the time that we have to call a spade and look at these things in practical terms. Traditional rulership, they can hold their positions and be just for traditional, for whatever the people they are leading. But when it comes to the development of the area, the control of the land and all the resources in the land must be in the hands of the government. And we use the proceeds from the lands and the resources to develop the area. You see, and so this is a painful pill that we have to take, we have to swallow. I know we are so much attached to some of these traditions, but traditions must go. We are evolving beings, and if we want to go forward, if we want to be regarded as developed people, then we have to reevaluate and evolve our systems. We have to do that. Societies are growing. If you take any community, if you take especially the cities that we have, the original people that were living there are no more the original people living there. There are multiple people, different from different tribes, even foreigners coming in. So how can we make a standard way of doing things such that whoever walks in will have a simple way to follow to acquire a place to live? That is very simple. The rampant killing that's happening in Accra, Kumasi, and other places because of land issues is self-inflicted. And it is because of we not taking practical approach, we not being pragmatic and proactive to issues. You see, so what I'm calling out, if I am the president of Ghana, or when I become the president of Ghana, and I'm sitting in the seat of His Excellency John Mahama, that this I will do. And Nananum has to agree. They have to accept that there is the need for us to move forward. And we can continue to do this. Chiefs became part of our political system through the British. It was when they introduced the indirect rule. Chiefs were actually the leaders before the British came. But when the colonial system kicked in, they used the chiefs as a way of getting their policies to the people. Now, we are living in a different era. We are living in a different dispensation. This confusion has already been created. How can we stand here and create something beautiful out of the confusion? That is what I'm talking about. We know that our chiefs are our leaders. But as a matter of fact, traditional rulership, kings and chiefs, and we are not the only people that are practicing this. A lot of people have practiced it. If you go to Britain, if you go to Europe, they used to have chiefs and kings as we have now. But because of the issues, the confusion, and the issues surrounding this institution, because it is not moving alongside the evolution of human being, they took practical approach. They took practical steps to reform everything. And now, if you go to Britain, if you go to any of these countries, they have political system controlling everything. King Charles is simply a figurehead. If you go to Norway, whatever, the kings and all, they are figureheads. They're just for some ceremonial and other things. But here is the case that, in our case, we don't have one overall king. That is the Ghana king. So we have the Gonjas, we have the Ashantis, we have the Evers, we have the Equiapims. So which of these ones will be taken as the overall? That is even where the confusion becomes or begins. But we can look at where we are, and all of us, with the cooperation of Nananum and the chiefs, the Agbon and the Yana, all those are the whatever we call them, the Togbeis and whatever, all coming together to think of the common interest of Ghana. Thank God, now almost every chief in every village is an educated person. And if you are abreast with times, even if you are the chief, listening to me, if you are open-minded, you will see that what I'm saying is the truth. We need to move on and leave these institutions behind. They are outdated. They are no more in line with human evolution. Whether we like it or not, we are in Ghana. Your tribe is meaningless as soon as you travel outside Ghana. As soon as you take your bag and you cross the boundaries of Ghana, no one asks about your tribe, but they ask about your nationality. No one asks about your tribe. You hold the passport of Ghana, not the passport of your tribe. Everything that you hold, that you were considered as a human being outside Ghana, is based on Ghana. So why can't we put the Ghana interest, the national interest, over all this? But we are allowing our individual interest, tribal and other interests, to break us apart instead of harnessing the strength of diversity. You see, so all these things comes about because of the existence of the role that the traditional rulers are playing. And so we cannot, say we should cancel it, but we have to create structures. We have to create structures in such a way that development can be rolled out. Chiefs are not elected. Kings are not elected. They inherit whatever they are doing, they have. And therefore you can't hold them accountable. You can't hold them accountable. They are not necessarily the people to provide developmental projects in your area, but it is the government. So it is only when the local government is effective and has power to make bylaws, has the power to generate revenue, and then the central government comes to support, then that we can get all the things that we are looking for. This is how modern nations are created. This is how modern nations are established. You see, I am not against chieftaincy. And as a matter of fact, where I come from, however small it is, I am from the royal family. I could have been a chief in my town if I wanted. But I see things from the broader perspective. I grew up as a villager. I know how village life is. And I got a chance to come to this part of the world. And I know how life is over here. Therefore, my determination is to make sure that any young child, any young man or woman that will grow up in Ghana, so at a point will have a decent life, will have access to basic things that all other children are having in other parts of the world. I mentioned community libraries, better schools, buildings, sports complex, recreational facilities. These things can only be done only when we have a proper local government structure, and the local government are given the power and the ability to generate funds and create things and initiate projects. Chiefs don't do this. It is not the role of a chief to do that. The chief is there to maintain tradition, whether we like it or not. It is just that now we are trying to do all this thing, you see. So we have only two choices. Either we throw away the Western democracy, we throw away everything and break ourselves apart and live on our tribal basis, so that every tribe will begin to attack each other, you see, as it used to be in the olden days. Or we turn our eyes from it and then look at how to develop what we have now. Ghana comes before everything. And what we need to do is to create systems and structures such that Ghana will be a developed nation. And the land ownership is a critical thing in the life of every Ghanaian. There must be a proper system such that you only apply for the land to build a place through the housing department in every city, in every town, in every village. And then the government team up with you, you develop it. I am totally against the mortgage system because people don't have the income in Ghana for us to put people in debt. But if you look at the African system, if you look at the Ghana system, if you have that plot of land and you put it up, that is your own. You don't own anyone. This is a system that will, or a scheme that will give people the freedom and the right to live as independent people. The only thing you have to think of is your rent and the utilities once this house is completed. But we must lay the proper structures before we can roll out the housing scheme. And that is taking the land from the traditional rulers. All this confusion that is surrounding land ownership can be put to bed. Galamsey, Galamsey is progressing in Ghana. It's not able to be defeated because of the chiefs, the ruler, the traditional rulers in those areas. They control the land. They give out the land. And they have a say in it. You see, but if we have a system whereby no one can release a land unless it goes through a certain process, that it is published politically, everyone sees it. If you go against it, you are taken to court and you are disciplined. All these things will be put to bed. You can't take the chief to court for selling a land. You can't take the chief to court for selling the land and even using the money for himself and his family. You can't do that. That is not possible. And if the chief is not performing, for you to distill the chief, it takes a lot of time. But if we have a system whereby we have elected people, that every 4 years you go and show what you have done. And if the people are not happy with what you are doing or what you've done, they vote you out. All these things will be put to bed. So this is the time, the time that we have to wake up and call a spade. We are looking for the development of Ghana. Whatever we are doing now, as I've always been saying, whatever the present government is doing, the past government have done, and the other governments to come with the same approach, nothing is going to change in Ghana except this confusion moving from one level to another. But we can transform our own lives. We can transform Ghana to a state that everyone living in any corner of this country will feel the wind of change, the wind of good and quality life. That is all I'm talking about. If you are a chief, if you are a king, if you are whatever, I am not against you. But you have children. Your children and all their children who are looking for improvement. They are looking for better life. They are looking for good quality of life. So this is the time that we have to put our personal interests and all these things interests aside and put the national interest first and develop a better future for our children. This is what every president of Ghana must be able to do. They should be able to impress upon the chiefs and the kings to understand that there is a future that we have to create for our children. And that future is in Ghana, but it's not in the tribe. It's not in the king. It's in the president or the presidency of Ghana. So far as the world is concerned now, no chief in Ghana will be accepted as a leader. He has to work through the Ghana. So we have to do that. Even if the chief is traveling, he's traveling on the Ghanaian passport. Whether it is a diplomatic passport or whatever, it is the Ghana stamp, Ghana coat of arms that is on it. So it is with Nigeria, so it is with Tanzania, so it is with Ivory Coast, so it is with every nation, you see. So this is the time that we have to get up and organize our things. You cannot leave things down for the things to correct themselves. Our life is simply being proactive and deliberate. And the deliberate is what we are talking about. So land ownership is something that has to be done. And if I'm the president of Ghana, when I become the president of Ghana, that will be one of the key things I will do. And empower local authorities to be able to, develop the various areas that will keep Ghana at a level that all of us will be happy. And the whole world will also be happy to join us to celebrate our achievement, you see. So that is my message for you. Please wake up, All that I'm doing is to open your mind. I am not better than you, and I am not greater than you. I am just one of you, as a matter of fact. Now, who happens to get the opportunity to come to this part of the world? But there is a reason. I've spent almost all my life here, and I know whatever I am saying is a practical experience, and I experience it, I have read it, I have observed it, everything. All my fellow Ghanaians and Africans in the diaspora, US, Canada, Britain, and whatever, you people are a witness. You are experiencing whatever I'm saying. You are experiencing a certain life that is so beautiful that you enjoy, that when they ask you to leave, you take them to court. You will do everything that you can. Some people even go to see pastors to pray that their immigrations will be regularized. If you want to enjoy this kind of thing, why can't we go back home and create it? But we can only go back to create it only when we go there with a different perspective. So if you are in the North, if you are in the diaspora and you are listening to me, if you want to join this group, join us and let us take this approach and let us take Ghana, rebrand Ghana, give it a different outlook, give it a different name, a different perspective, that we can build Ghana and make it a modern Ghana. But we cannot do that by upholding older traditions. Transformation is simply the introduction of new ideas. And therefore, if you want to be transformed, if you want to move forward, if you want newer things, you must introduce new ideas. And these are the ideas we are proposing, that we will transform Ghana by taking ownership of land and everything, resources from the traditional rulers. The military will be used to train paramilitary units in all districts to open up Ghana. And then we have a housing scheme that is uniform. It's the same thing from Paga to Axim, from whatever Ho to whatever Takrady. Everything is the same. And when we do that, people and the universe will look at us and clap for us for what we have done, for we have arrived as evolved being. Thank you. Once again, let me appeal to you. If you haven't subscribed, please click on the subscribe button and join the movement. Join us and let us bring uniform and sustained development in Ghana and Africa. If you have already done that, we salute you. And also, if you want to be part of the project, wherever you are, let us know by leaving a comment. If you want to support it in any way, feel free to leave a comment. And together, we will take Ghana from this level to another level. Thank you, and God bless you.